Welcome back, everyone, to the front lines in Hearts of Iron 4, Road to the Republic, People's Republic of China. Now, there seems to be a bit of a stalemate going on, so we're going to be looking to break it this part. We're sending out a few divisions to help close down this pocket that we created in the south of Iran. They are right now, as we speak, on their way from central China, and hopefully the Soviet Union will send some of these guys over, because, well, these 20 divisions that they have sitting in Tibet would be very useful, I think, in our own endeavors. We also seem to have an opportunity to actually push through and surround this Colombian division. Another interesting thing is that now we can see the exact amount of troops that they have. Lots of lag actually going on right now, but hopefully you'll bear with it. We can actually see the amount of troops that the enemy is using, thanks to our increased intelligence levels. I'm not sure if that's us or the Soviet Union. I'm guessing it's the Soviet Union that researched some additional techs for this. And now that we have surrounded this guy, let's just pin him down with a multiple flank attack and take him out. Let's check out the status of Colombia, actually, because they don't appear to be in the Axis. And I'm not sure... Oh, that's probably Venezuela then. Yeah, they have a very similar flag. Right. Yeah. I am stupid sometimes. And they do have volunteers sent to a lot of Axis countries. So I'm guessing that they have a pretty huge army, and a lot of that army is actually overseas fighting for the Axis. So we might as well count them in as a member of the Axis, despite the fact that they don't officially are in the alliance. Now we want to make sure that our hold on the encirclement is perpetual, so we're gonna send, we're gonna make sure that this division, the 86th, goes on over to Ahvaz, and there hopefully holds the ground, preventing the enemy from actually escaping. And we are now at the gates of Baghdad as well. We have retaken Yerevan, I believe. Yes, it is in our control. And up here, we should be closing on Tbilisi, but I don't see Tbilisi anymore. It should be over here. Yeah, we're very close to it, so we're getting a lot of very important territory recaptured, which is good. Let's also bring this army on over to the correct theater. Thankfully, we also have the correct priority for the theaters. As you can see, I have prioritized the Middle Eastern theater because that's where we are fighting indeed. And looks like the Germans researched some extra technology for their troops, so we can't... Is that Iran, though? Because only in territories that are controlled by Iran we can't see the troop number, so it might be that that intel is dependent on which country you are stationing troops on, and not which country's troops those are, because here I can see German divisions pretty well when they're in German territory, but here when they're in Iranian territory I can't actually see them. Well, I don't know, up here we can't see them either, so it might just be a bug. Yeah, I'm guessing it's just a bug in... Wait, what? Soviet Union. It's like Norway and Denmark landed a force on the shores of the Baltic, weirdly enough. And the Germans have recaptured Berlin and are now defeating the British landing, so hopefully we'll be able to inflict some defeats on them before they can bring back all their troops from the area. They look like they have pulled back from the pocket, which is probably smart for them, because they don't want to lose any divisions needlessly in a theater that isn't really worth defending. Let's try an attack in this province. Might work. They have some medium tanks and some light tanks from the Italians. We are actually defeating them. One thing that's working in our favor is the fact that it looks like the German Air Force is quite stretched out, and, well, there aren't really that many zones where the Germans actually have an air presence, probably because the combined attrition of the Allied and Soviet air forces brought down their airplane count by a little bit too much. Yeah, in fact, it doesn't look like the Soviet Union has a huge amount of aircraft, and the British even more. Up to 10,000 airplanes for the British. So, yeah. Very, very unlikely that the Germans are ever going to regain air superiority over any area of the front, which is obviously going to work in our favor because we don't have an air force. So that's going to be very, very nice for us, since we are not yet in the flying club. And our advance is not going quite as well anymore because they have reinforced, but we might have the chance to actually push in some other areas. Although for now, I think it's best to just hold. I don't think there are any opportunities up here, which is not the best, but not the worst. And maybe this province. Although, that province also seems to be quite ripe for an encirclement once they stop attacking Yerevan. Then we're going to try a couple of flanking attacks. This is not going to work. We need our guy to cross this river. I think that's the Euphrates. It's either the Tigris or the Euphrates. These two rivers. And this is not going to work, unfortunately. So let's stop that. And we might be able to surround Basra, actually. Basra with 4 Axis divisions is not going to fall because it is a city, so they're going to be able to produce their own supplies. But it is at least going to occupy those Axis divisions, and for a while keep them there until eventually we can have enough men to actually close the pocket and destroy them. How are things going up here? Looks like we need to wait before we make another offensive. Wonder if... nah. A bit too many Axis troops are moving about. Although we could attempt this. Yeah, in fact it's gonna work, which is great. Let's reinforce because they are also reinforcing, so we want as much firepower over here as possible. We're going to attack from the flank with this other division and close that gap. So now this guy is a little surrounded, and hopefully he'll die soon. We're going to attack him from 3 flanks so that he gets a penalty from both encirclement and multiple combats, and also giving a flanking bonus to our men. Hopefully. Doesn't look like it's actually happening, but oh well, who gives a shit. They're gonna die anyway. So that's pretty fine. Just slowly whittling down the Axis divisions. Out here they're trying to surround us, but it's not working. And that's exactly what we'd want to happen. So our main focus is going to be to surround the enemy forces and then make sure that they can't relieve the gap. Destroyer 2 is available to us. We're just going to continue building, or rather researching new types of destroyers because, well, it's pretty important that we do, considering that for a while it is the only thing that's going to be easy enough to actually produce. So we're going to take only 1 extra of the destroyer type 1 so that we don't lose any actual production, and then we're going to start building the second. model. We're going to continue pushing them back in the Iraqi plains. In the meantime, we have our other divisions. They're going to form a defensive front in the desert, and that's going to be enough to bottle them up, hopefully. We're getting really close to our plan goals, so we're going to update the plan to make sure that even once we take Baghdad and the surrounding areas, thus technically completing the plan, we're still going to have things to get planning bonus off of, because it is vital that with our inferior unit quality, we get at least planning bonus to even things out between us and the Germans. And are we getting any land doctrines, actually? No. Right now, it is going to be important to actually do this. It is going to research instantly. Research is instant when changing the tree with more than one technology researched in the current tree. Okay? That's pretty good. So we get instantly large front operations. And we're going to get deep operations at a discount. So that's going to give us the Blitz command, which is going to be great for the damage that we do. And also we've gone Relentless Assault, which is also very, very good for damage. So that's going to be nice. And then getting more max planning, etc, etc, etc. Great. Great stuff. Now this is going to be a problem until we get vast offensives, which is going to reduce our infantry combat width just like human wave offensive does. That's going to be a problem because our infantry divisions are kind of weird and designed with having more things than necessary in mind. Actually, maybe that's just 20... Oh no, that's 16 combat width. Okay, I guess... Wait, I think that's like a bug. That must be a bug. It's only got 1 combat width on my infantry. So it kept the minus 0.4 bonus, right? But normally would go from 2 to 1.6. That is extremely weird. I'm actually not sure what happened there. Why my infantry is 1 combat with. That's actually overpowered as hell, though. Because I can make ridiculous divisions now. Like... if this is 1 combat with, and that would mean that I can do... Oh no. It's not 1 combat with. That's 1.6. Right, okay. So... okay, essentially what's gonna happen is... also, we take Baghdad because it's free. Essentially what happened is I researched the the human wave offensive, right? And that gave me minus 0.4 infantry combat width. And then when I researched this, it did not take that away. So I can basically just go ahead and infinitely decrease my combat width. That's probably a bug. That is very, very likely a bug. They're trying to overrun us with armor, and it's working because we don't have any anti-tank weapons. So what we're going to have to do is counterattack from the flank. And in the meantime, hopefully, reduce the pocket before they can actually punch through. In the meantime, we are storming out of Baghdad and into the surrounding areas. We're also going to take Mosul and flank in the mountains with a couple of attacks to at least distract the Germans. This motorized division seems pretty strong, and they also have tanks, so we're going to leave them be, at least for now. Now this guy is gonna go down, and then we can stop suiciding near the line. We've also received reinforcements of some Soviet medium tanks. And then you can start your offensive. Where are you? Oh, over here. We're gonna assign everyone to the plan because they weren't, and then... Okay. Seems like we have a pretty good foothold over the area. So as long as we can take out this force, we're gonna also have a very good time. Now, we now have the puppet focus on the Soviet Union. I don't think I can actually use it, but for now we'll just wait and see. And then I think taking Cult of Personality right now would be okay, just to increase our division recovery rate. But then we can take it a great leap forward because we need to be at peace. So for now, actually, I wouldn't mind carrier model research, and I also wouldn't mind some fighter research bonuses, but state-controlled education right now is the most important thing because of the minus 1.5 research time. Looks like we are going to be able to take at least one port pretty safely because there are no Axis troops actually defending the port. And we have... Yeah, we cannot declare war on the Soviet Union because of... Oh, and it actually expires. It's going to expire in a couple of years. So that's a problem. In the meantime, we're still lend-leasing them guns, so... We can also continue to advance in Iraq, thankfully. The Axis don't seem to be too well organized in this area. We also have a much better force than these Spanish troops because these Spanish volunteers are only free infantry. Because they're one of those units left over from the Spanish Civil War. Those aren't particularly well suited for any action. And you're gonna stop attacking there, and you're gonna continue attacking on the flank. We're just keeping this Panzer Division kind of busy. We're never gonna be able to defeat it without some serious anti-tank upgrades to our arsenals, but we can't really do that for now, so we're gonna continue to just keep them busy and then flank them out. Hopefully we'll be able to surround them with our divisions, and then once they are run out of supplies in the marshes, then we're gonna have a pretty easy time at it. Trying to reinforce with a Croatian division seems to be kind of effective. They're also retreating a motorized division, but we're gonna be able to at least surround the Panzer division. And keep it surrounded, hopefully. There's still a little bit too many enemy divisions in the central part of the Caucasus, so we can't really make an offensive over there. At least not until we are sure that the threat to our flanks is kind of mute. But what we can do is still advance in the Middle East, which is going fairly well. These guys are out of fuel, out of supplies, so very soon they will probably be destroyed. If we can reach also the Suez Canal, then we can also help clear out Italy from Africa, which would be very, very useful. How's our war participation actually looking? At this point it should be pretty decent. Yeah, 9%. Who are actually the people that we're gonna have to defeat? Is there a way to actually see just the majors? Yeah, it's the German Reich, Nationalist Spain, and Italy. Nationalist Spain is a major, interestingly enough, despite the fact that half their country is under the occupation of the Allies and they only have 3 factories. And they only have 1 infantry division under their control, but they probably have much more... yeah, they probably have much more under German control. And then Italy is almost capitulated, and the Germans are almost capitulated as well. Well, not really almost, but soon enough we'll be able to capitulate them. Italy is being kind of picked apart by the Allies. The Swedish have managed to land in Ancona, and pretty much the entire Tyrrhenian coast is under the control of the Allies. So hopefully Italy will be soon capitulated. Their capital is Palermo, which, considering that the Allies control the sea, it's going to fall very soon, because the Italians, without a naval presence, can't really reinforce the island of Sicily. And so we're going to have a fairly easy time at it. Right now our main focus is going to be to clearing out the Germans from Syria, and also to take more ground in the Caucasus, because right now we're really struggling there compared to the other fronts. The main problem is also that we don't have any radios, and we really need to research that very quickly, because us not having this is making our troops very susceptible to just staying in the reserves. Of course, thanks to the fact that we have the mass assault, we're gonna have a bit of an easier time actually getting our men in the fight. And here the Germans have way too many troops, so we're just gonna stop. In the meantime, we have a bit of an opportunity. There's 3 German divisions kind of trapped in this stretch of desert. And there's a lot of our divisions trapped here as well. But what we can try to do is making a dual-pronged attack. The Germans were trying to redeploy their forces, so they are pretty weak. Unfortunately, the northern pincer is not going to go quite as well, because while they are very low on supplies, they are still formidable opponents. Now, the fact that they're low on supplies is really nice for me, because thanks to the fact that they have the mass assault doctrine, sorry for the lag again, performance when there are so many units around is bad. Because I have this, I have less supply consumption. So that, combined with the fact that my units are basically pure infantry without any actual support or artillery or tanks, means that I can essentially just very, very easily supply my troops even in the heat of the desert, and they can't. So those 3 Axis divisions will probably just sign their own death sentence by staying there. And there they go. They're all dead. We're also going to continue our push across the desert. This guy is a little bit too well fortified. How are things going in Iran? Looks like we can take their last remaining port and cut them off from any remaining supplies that they have. Then we're also gonna make sure that all of these territories are under our control, so that they don't take up divisions for the frontage. Just checking that everyone is on the move, and they are, in fact. There's also another Iranian division up here, but that's gonna get surrounded very soon. And we simply have a bit too many divisions for the Germans to handle in this theater. So we're just kind of flanking them all over, and wherever they try to take us out, then we can just flank them from another direction and if not surround them and take out their supply lines, then at least do quite a lot of damage to their organization, basically just forcing them to deploy. Now, at this point, I think getting Recon Company is going to be necessary, because we have quite the stockpile of support equipment, 3,500, so at least that is going to be under our reach. We also appear to have a decent stockpile of motorized, so we're going to make sure that we have a decent motorized division. And by decent, I mean we're going to have a motorized division, because we can't have a decent motorized division right now. That's going to take 500 motorized, so we can build 2 of these. Well, we need infantry equipment, right? But one day, we'll be able to build that. We also have some troops that are fairly well equipped. At the same time, though, we need to continue to improve our industry. We're building mainly civilian factories, interestingly enough, partially because we need more because we have a lot of insufficient resources, so we're gonna try to fix that. Of course, that's gonna take civilian factories, which is not very good for us. And if, by the way, you haven't been hearing me quite so clearly, that is because my game music volume was a little bit too high, so I just brought it down a little bit. Hopefully it's better now. The British Raj is also advancing in the same front, so hopefully we'll be able to link up with their troops and deal a death blow to the Axis. Right now the main attack is going to be against the port of Bandar Abbas, because that's where they're getting their supplies from. We might be able to defeat them once we get all our divisions in the fight. Unfortunately, we're getting attacked from the flanks by the Italians, so we're going to have to put a stop to our own offensive in order to make sure that they can't break through. In the meantime, Judah is doing very, very well. One thing that might be helping is the fact that he's a trickster, so his reconnaissance is going to be excellent, which means that his tactics will usually be able to counter the enemy tactics quite well. And of course, as we advance in Syria, the territory is going to be given back to the French Commune, because they're our allies in the war. We might be able to cut off the connection between the Mediterranean in this part and the Mediterranean in the south. And once we do the same and advance in Turkey, we're going to liberate our ally as well, the Turkish Socialist Republic. So that's adding a lot more industrial capacity to our cause in a much more efficient way than if we were just taking the territory ourselves. Also, not just industrial capacity, but also manpower in a much more efficient way. Not to be underestimated. We're getting some unfulfilled imports. Is that because of the Soviet Union? Is that because... Oh, they actually like us, though. We may be their rival, but they definitely like us because we are... Why are we their rival, though? I think it's because we took this. Yes, political rival. Because we're essentially providing them with a ton of civilian factories. By trading. And now we have a double-pronged force. Now, as soon as the Spanish division is going to be really easy to break through. Now, as soon as I can actually reorganize my forces a little well enough, I'm going to keep 8 divisions up here. Let's grab the one that looks to be least well suited to task. For example, you. Oh, you're there, right. No, never mind then. You're gonna move on down. Because you 8 are gonna be given on over to Mr. Su over here. And you're gonna expand your front line in some ways and contract it in some other ways to make sure that you can still do well. Because having one army manage 2 fronts is usually not a very good idea. So Judah's army is gonna still continue on down towards the Suez Canal. And we could also take Damascus in the same stroke, which is a plus. It's always a plus. Gotta clear my voice a little bit, since I've been talking for a while. I think I'm gonna end it now. So I want to thank you all for watching. Salman Yusuf also thanks you for watching, because he is back in control, back in Baghdad after his exile in probably Moscow, and getting his ass bombed by the German artillery. And obviously they're very happy about the fact that we liberated them. Very, very nice. And they're gonna, hopefully, with their labor camps, continue to help out war effort in the next time. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed so far. We're also gonna take down Iran next time, and I'll see you soon.